guys, welcome to the first episode of Kinda Tica. This is gonna be about basically how my family moved to Costa Rica and the do's and don'ts of just being a decent human being here. It's pretty simple, but a lot of people think that moving here was such a hard thing to do. It really wasn't that hard. You just have to open up. So I'm just gonna talk to you guys about that. Sorry it's like wind or anything. I'm outside because the house is extremely dark. So I'm just gonna get started with how we moved here. Basically what happened is my dad was about to retire and he realized that with his pension, he could not afford to keep us in living in Missouri. Basically, he would have to get another job. My mom would have to get another, well, she'd have to keep her job, and that kind of defeats the entire point of retirement. So he was like, okay, how about we move somewhere else, like a new country, somewhere cheaper, okay? My dad is all about cheap, okay? It doesn't matter where it's at. As long as it's cheap, he doesn't care. So at first we thought we were going to move to Ecuador. Um, and we did a lot of research on Ecuador. Ecuador is beautiful. We've never been, but the pictures, ugh, I want to go to Ecuador. There's a lot of places I would like to go, but anyway, we thought we were going to move to Ecuador, and then my dad, I forgot exactly how, I think somebody told him about their idea to move to Costa Rica, and my dad was like, Costa Rica? And he kind of like Googled it, and then that was basically it. We basically were like, we're gonna go to Costa Rica. All my family, all of our friends thought we were insane. None of them thought we were actually going to do it. Everybody thought we were just gonna keep saying we're gonna do it and then not do anything. So it was really interesting to like build up to doing it because it took us 7 years of planning and of waiting for my dad to retire. There was a lot of loose ends that we kind of had to put together to be able to move here. We also have 4 dogs, so we had to bring them as well, which was a whole nother thing. They're actually underneath me right now, so if you hear them, that's them. Poco. Anyway, so basically, okay, we're just going to ignore them. So basically, okay. So Poco was too busy fighting Gunner, so I had to bring her up here. Poco, say hi. She doesn't care. Anyway, so basically to move here, we had to do a lot of different things. We had to sell our house. We had to pack up all of our stuff. We had to ship a container from Missouri to Costa Rica. We had to find a house to rent there. There was a lot of loose ends, and we honestly would not have been able to do it without our friends in Costa Rica and without our friends in the States. We needed a lot of help, and they helped us basically follow our dream, which was amazing. Our friends in Costa Rica, they helped us find this house, and our friends in the States helped us pack up our old one. So it was really, we couldn't have done it without family and friends, honestly. So one thing you should know when moving to Costa Rica is, okay, so all the motorcycle drivers are crazy, okay? They're not that very good at it. I'm just being honest. They're not that great at driving. So my opinion is do not get a car. I know, it's crazy. In the States, everyone has a car. But I highly recommend not getting a car because she's like leaning and she's so weird. Because there is a high chance that somebody is going to run into you. Yeah, not that you're going to hit somebody else, but somebody else is going to run into you. So I would recommend not to, and public transportation is everywhere. There is, yeah, there is taxis on every street corner. There's buses, there's everything. There's really no need for a car unless you have to be somewhere all the time doing certain things. That is Gunner scratching his, stop it. Okay. So I would recommend just use public transportation. Oh, and one other thing, there are going to be a lot of dogs in Costa Rica, walking the streets, crossing everywhere, you know, in restaurants. Like, there's a lot of dogs, okay? I know, big sigh. There are a lot of dogs in Costa Rica. Here's what not to do. Do not try to rescue them. Do not think they're these poor babies that are being abused 24/7. Do not blame the Ticos for the dogs living on the streets, because Tico dogs have their own set of rules. They do whatever they want, and then they go back to their owners at the end of the day. So please don't act like they're starving and they're going to die, because they're not. They're fine. What you can do is you can feed them if they will take food from you. Most of the time, they won't take food from you. They're actually going to pretend like you don't exist. So, if you want to give them food, you can try, but just don't be one of those people who, this is not the States. So just get that out of your brain, because you're not going to be in the States. You're in Costa Rica, and the dogs here are fine. You don't see dead dogs on the side of the road. Yeah. You don't see people beating up dogs or anything. Like, they're just here. They're kind of like squirrels. They're just everywhere. Um, so be aware of that. And one other thing, just try your best to talk to the people. You don't have to speak Spanish. When my family moved here, when my family moved here, we did not speak Spanish. So just making an effort and trying to get to know people and trying to ask them questions, that does everything, basically. The Ticos are more than willing to help you. I have not met anybody who's been extremely rude who wasn't a gringo. So the Ticos are very willing to help you, and you just have to open up to them and just go for it, honestly. Moving here has really opened my heart to, like, just realizing, opening myself to different cultures, to different people, to different foods. I am such a picky eater, and the food here is great, but I would never have eaten most of it before we moved here. And yes, I'm still extremely picky, but I have made great strides to not being. So it changes you a lot. I'm terrified of bugs, and there are large bugs I swear. There are large bugs everywhere here. I am so sorry, but oh well. Poco! There are large... Sorry, I had to take a quick intermission because Poco hates everyone. We live next to the road. She's growling right now. We live next to the road, so a lot of people walk back and forth and drive back and forth all the time. You would think after living here for a year and a half, she would get used to it. She does not. She still barks at every child and every human being that walks past us. So, sorry for that. But basically, living here, people say, oh, it's impossible, oh, it's hard, oh, you have to conform to so many things, you have to do so many things. You just have to be okay with stuff. Like when your landlord, on the second day of knowing her, decides that she wants to take you to a feria without your parents and she doesn't speak English. Like, just go with it. So I went with her, and I had one of the best days ever. We went to a feria, which is a local farmer's market. And it was great. We got so much fruits and veggies and pineapple. I swear, if you don't like pineapple in the States, it's because it's gross. Pineapple here, you will love pineapple permanently if you try pineapple here. It's amazing, and oh, my dad legit will buy 8 to 10 pineapples every week to eat. So pineapple is amazing here. um, Basically, you just go with the flow. Their saying here is pura vida, which means pure life, and they live by that. They just live their life every single day by day. They don't live about worrying what's in the future or worrying about stuff that happened in the past. They just live in the present, and it's one of the most beautiful things, honestly. It's amazing to be able to witness that, and I try my best to be more Tico, but I struggle because I am a stressor, and I stress about a lot of things. But I have gotten a lot better since we moved here, and my friends say that I am somewhat Tica, so that gives the name for that is the reason for the name of these vlogs is Kinda Tica, because if I'm walking down the street, people think I'm Tica, but if they try to talk to me, they realize I'm a gringa. So I think that you just have to live with the people, you know? Just embrace it all, you know? If you don't embrace stuff, that's when you just end up being complaining about everything. A lot of places that we go to, there's a lot of gringos, and They're really annoying, honestly, because all they do is complain about Costa Rica and how they had to explain to people how to do things and how they have to learn Spanish and how they have to do this. This is not the United States. People don't conform to you, you conform to them. They speak Spanish, so you try your best to learn Spanish, and they will help you out if you do that. The wind is crazy, and I can't control the weather, so sorry for that. But I just wanted to take this point in time to just this 10 minutes or whatever to just explain Costa Rica in like a little tiny nutshell, and just kind of like, hopefully if you guys ever travel somewhere, this will be helpful just to realize that the more you try your best to get to know the people, the more they will try their best to help you out, and go the extra mile for you. So hopefully this video was helpful, and thank you guys so much for watching. Have an amazing day.